Hello and welcome to two new products that are sitting here on the table with me today. These are the brand new HobbyZone micro trainers. Yeah, HobbyZone, of course, is the trainer brand that Horizon Hobby has here. You start with the HobbyZone airplanes, you move yourself up into E-Flight, and eventually into Hangar 9. But HobbyZone is the starting point, and they got these brand new little micro trainers. So there's two of them that they came out with. They are 450 millimeter wingspan. We have the P-51D Mustang sitting right here. And look how, by the way, look how little these boxes are. These things are just the well-packaged little boxes here, which are great for storage as well. And then, of course, then we have also the Cub here as well, the XCub 450 millimeter wingspan on this one as well. So they are the same wingspan, and they're very attractively priced here at $99.99 for everything you need to get started. So when I say that, I'm like, literally everything is in here. So you get you get your choice between the Mustang and the Cub. Both of them include a HobbyZone transmitter that is bound to the aircraft. And it is a 5-channel transmitter here. And by 5 channels, we have our 4 control surfaces. We have throttle, rudder, aileron, and elevator. And then the 5th channel is actually used for safe. 3 modes of safe, just like with a lot of other the HobbyZone trainer aircraft. You have beginner mode, intermediate mode, and experience mode. It also has a very cool feature up here in the corner called aerobatic. And the aerobatics button will actually allow the new pilot, as you are learning to fly the aircraft, it will give you the ability to do some simple aerobatics. So you can feel like a hero very early in your flying career. So the transmitter comes pre-bound, ready to go inside the box. You also get a spare propeller with each of these aircraft, and what's really cool, there's a nice feature on the prop. It's a kind of almost like a prop saver, almost like a quick release. So if you do impact the ground, which is probably going to happen as a student pilot, it sure enough happened to be plenty of times, the prop will just simply pop off. You stick it back on again and away you go. If you do happen to damage it enough or you break the prop, you got a spare in the box. This is great. I'll be honest, when I first started to fly, I think I may have only been 1 or 2 flights in before I was off to the hobby shop to buy replacement props. So it's nice if you have one of these in the box already, you can get back to flying just in case you need it. In this little bag here, you have a USB charger. You have 2 1S batteries, so not just one battery, 2 batteries. So 2 batteries, 2 props, most certainly everything you need to go learn how to fly and have a good day at the flying field. And also you have batteries for the transmitter, and they even give you a little screwdriver in here to take the cover off the back of the transmitter to install your batteries. So quite literally, you could buy this at the hobby shop or buy it online, have it delivered to your house, charge up the battery, head to the flying field, and get going right away. The only thing really slowing you down and getting in the air is simply just going to be charging up these batteries. You also get the flight manual, and of course, I highly recommend reading the manual and becoming familiar with it before flying. So especially if you're new to the hobby and this is your very first RC plane, you're getting ready to go fly these things, make sure you take the time to read the manual for both of these. Make sure you have the airplane set up, make sure you're familiar with how the controls work, what the switches and everything do, how to install the battery, everything like that. A couple tips here on the battery. If you're new to flying and if you're new to LiPo batteries, make sure you always charge these batteries, preferably in the garage, but charge them when you're going to be around, right? Don't take off for a weekend and leave this thing on the charger. Charge when you are going to be around and able to monitor the batteries. Also, if you're not going to be flying at all for a while, don't leave the batteries fully charged for an extended period of time. So you really want to have that battery probably down to about 30 to 50% capacity for storage. That will help your battery last a lot longer. And you can do that, you can run the battery down actually by just plugging it into the airplane holding onto it, applying throttle, and just kind of running the battery down to make sure that it doesn't sit fully charged. I ruined a ton of batteries when I was a student pilot, not knowing that you don't keep LiPo batteries fully charged. So, all right, well, that's some of the basics of what you get in the box. The assembly for these things is really easy. In fact, the Mustang, the assembly, I would even go as far as saying it's optional, because the only thing you have to install on the Mustang is the landing gear. And the way I would personally fly it is probably without the landing gear, and they just pop off here really easily. If I can get one to come off here. It's easier when you kind of have it in front of you here rather than pointed away. But yeah, they just simply snap in and out. So to put the landing gear in, you just simply slide it in from the leading edge. There's a little click, landing gear is installed. So you can install the landing gear if you want to fly it off a hard surface. But if it was me, I would probably take the landing gear off, and I would actually hand launch the airplane in beginner mode and then land it gently in the grass. That's actually my preferable way to fly a lot of my small micro airplanes. Plus, I don't like the look of the landing gear hanging down. So that's the only assembly needed here for the Mustang, and it's a personal preference. If you want to fly with the landing gear on and off, you can make that decision yourself, and you can make that decision and change your mind whenever you want. On the little Cub here, you do have to install the landing gear as well. They just simply slide into the bottom of the fuselage here, like so, and then you just pop them back in, just like I did there. I didn't take them fully out, but yeah, they just simply pop in. They point forward, so if you put the landing gear in, they point forward here. That'll help prevent the airplane from nosing over. The battery goes in this little teeny tiny tray in here. There's a wire that you plug the battery into. If I can just get it out with my finger there. There we go. All right, so yeah, it's just a little wire, and you plug your battery in, and you will be good to go. This is the little Cub here. I have to say, this thing is this is very cool. This is the first time I've ever seen these airplanes, and I think that the orange and silver coloring on this Cub is very cool. It's also got the wing struts underneath here. The Cub's cool, I'll be honest. Like the Cub really impressed me. I'm typically more of a warbird guy. I love P-51 Mustangs. Mustang's one of my all-time favorite fighter planes, but I'll tell you what, this Cub is very cool. I really like this thing. If I was a beginner pilot and looking to get started in the hobby, I would have actually a tough time picking between the two. I know that when I got started, I wish planes like this were available. I spent a heck of a lot more money for an airplane that was much bigger. And it was I wouldn't say it was easy to fly. I definitely had some struggles, but it was not a P-51 Mustang, and it was not this gorgeous little Cub that I started with. So to have this as an opportunity for a new pilot is really exciting. I would be hard-pressed walking into a hobby shop and trying to pick between the two. The Mustang looks very good. It's got a good presence to it. It's got a very nice classic shape to it. It's got a little bit more wing area than the Cub. Plus it's a Mustang, so that's always awesome. The Cub, on the other hand, with these nice big Tundra inflatable tires on it, the bright orange paint looks really, really good as well. So, yeah, overall, I'm pretty impressed with both of these things. And, I hear a lot of comments that, for more experienced pilots, that they don't quite understand these types of airplanes. Well, they're not really meant for someone who's been flying for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, right? This is meant for you that have never flown an airplane before, right? And let's say you've kind of sitting there on the fence going, I really want to get into flying an RC plane, but I don't really want to spend a lot of money. I'm a little bit, either A, I don't want to put that much money into it in case I don't like it, or B, maybe you just are a little bit tighter with a budget. And I think these, all in a box for $100, is a fantastic way to get started in the hobby. The foam that these are made out of is actually significantly more durable than a lot of the micro planes of the past. I'll actually have a follow-up video to this one where I'll compare the P-51 to the current UMX E-Flight P-51, as well as one of the original 1S UMX planes. But the thing is, those are not meant for beginners. They're not very durable. They're meant for more experienced pilots who are probably not going to have as many mishaps. So the construction of these airplanes, the type of foam that's used, the breakaway prop, these are all things that really make these planes ideal trainers. And because of that, they're not meant for people who've been flying forever. They're meant for someone new, someone who's just trying to get into the hobby. And I think this is a fantastic way to get started. And sure, there are similar type airplanes out there in the marketplace, similar size, similar price points, but they're available from online sellers. And if you have a problem with one of those airplanes, you're going to be hard pressed to find support for it. With these airplanes here, coming from HobbyZone and of course Horizon Hobby as the parent company, you have the support of Horizon Hobby. You have the spare parts availability, you have the customer service. You can also buy these at your hobby shop and take it right back to the hobby shop if you got any questions or concerns or something breaks and you need help getting it going again. The hobby shop is a fantastic resource as well. So you're not going to have that with ones you buy from online retailers that sell names of planes that you can't pronounce, right? These are HobbyZone airplanes, and I'll tell you what, HobbyZone's been around for a number of years now. That's the brand that I got started with. In fact, if it wasn't for HobbyZone, I would have never been able to get into this hobby. So they are able to take all the lessons learned from developing some of the best trainers on the market, scale it down into these nice small size, easy to store. Like I pointed out, you can store the airplane right back inside these boxes again. And these things are, you could toss this on a shelf somewhere, put it in the closet when you're not flying it, and they're gonna stay safe. So a couple of little quick things. If you are new to the hobby and you're kind of curious about, like the transmitter and the safe modes, right? So this aircraft has safe and what we call AS3X. And so what safe mode is going to do is that when you select this switch up here to beginner mode, right? So we move that to beginner. The airplane is going to have limited amount of roll, a limited amount of pitch, and a limited amount of yaw. And what that's going to do is when you go into a turn, it's going to prevent the airplane from rolling over on the top, right? It's going to automatically limit itself and keep the airplane at a more controllable bank angle. And that's important if you're a beginning pilot and you're going to probably take the stick and you're going to mash it over to one side or the other. On a regular plane, that would probably send it into the ground, right? Well, with safe, it is going to turn the airplane a certain amount, and that's all the further it is going to turn it. The same if you pull back on the stick, it's only going to pitch up so high, and if you push it down, it's only going to push it down so low. So that is a huge benefit for beginner pilots. When I started with my first 4-channel airplane, meaning 4-channel, meaning it had ailerons, elevator, rudder, and throttle, I had really struggled until I had an airplane with safe. And when I put it in beginner mode, I had the apprentice, and instantly I felt like a hero because now I could take off, fly, and land a plane with ailerons, just like this one here. And it was safe that allowed me to do that. Now, if you are in intermediate mode, so you flip the little switch to the middle position, all those same limitations that the airplane had are increased, or actually technically decreased. So you get an increase in roll, a decrease in kind of limiting the ability to roll. So now instead of maybe this in beginner mode, you're more like this in intermediate mode, and maybe only this in beginner. Now you can go up a little bit higher. So in intermediate mode, you have more control for the aircraft so that you can turn a little bit tighter, you can climb a little bit faster, you can dive a little bit faster as well. But though it's your next stepping stone. When you move into experienced mode, that is the highest mode there is, that system turns off, and now you can roll the airplane, you can fly it inverted, you can go up vertical, you can put it straight down. You are completely in control of flying and putting the airplane in whatever attitude that you want it in. The airplane also has something that is not able to be turned off, and that's AS3X, and that's a stability system. So if the airplane is flying and it's bouncing around because it's a windy day, as the airplane bounces one way, that gyro system works to counteract using the different control surfaces to help level the plane back out. It's not autopilot. It's not flying the plane for you. It's simply like shock absorbers that are on your car, but for an airplane. So when it hits a bump in the air, it is counteracting those bumps and trying to make the airplane a little bit more controllable. So that will make it easier to fly, and it also makes small planes like these fly a little bit better, makes them fly a little bit more like a big aircraft because you can fly it in a little bit of wind. If you're a beginner pilot and you are not familiar with what wind does to an airplane, well, a little bit on that then. I would fly these airplanes if the winds are probably 5 miles per hour or less. Preferably calm when flying small planes if you're a beginner, because you're not going to be quite used to what happens in the wind with an airplane like this, and you don't want to let it get away from you. So I would recommend flying when winds are either calm or less than 5. 5 is about the maximum if you're a beginner. If you're an intermediate or experienced pilot, obviously you can go much higher than that. But start off low just to get a feel for how the airplane is going to react in the wind and how to fly the airplane. You can do that usually at dawn or dusk is optimal if you're looking for calm conditions. For flight area, I would recommend taking these airplanes and flying them in an area about twice as big as you think that you should fly them. I may look at this guy here and say, well, I can fly this in my front yard. Probably not, unless your front yard is a lot bigger. I would recommend something the size of maybe a baseball diamond for something this size. I think a baseball diamond, like Little League would play, totally fine. You have plenty enough room to operate these aircraft in them. So, like I said, these are brand new from HobbyZone. These are the new micro trainers. They're available in the Mustang and the Cub. And this really is a fantastic way to get started. If you're a more experienced pilot, let's say you've been flying for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, something like that, and you want something that maybe is a kind of a low stress to no stress, just get back to the simple joy of flying without having to deal with flaps and retracts and going out to the field and all the stuff that has to happen when you move up into bigger, more complicated airplanes. These are a fantastic way to have something that, you know what, you can, if you're experienced, you can go out into a small area such as your yard or a little park and just go fly for the simple joy of flying. So these are not just for beginners. Yes, they're perfect for a beginner to get started, but I think as an experienced pilot, these can be a lot of fun because it kind of just takes you back to the simple joy of just flying an airplane, and these are going to be perfect for that. Great schemes on the two of them as well. High visibility orange on this one, the invasion stripes with the red nose on the P-51 Mustang here, so you can't go wrong with either one. So if you guys got any questions at all on these new micro series trainers here from HobbyZone, by all means leave them in the comments below, and subscribe to my YouTube channel here, because I'm going to have more content coming on these planes. My long-term goal for these is to get new pilots to fly these. I'm going to fly them myself. I'm going to come back with some comparisons on how I think from a more experienced pilot. What do I think of these airplanes? But I'm also going to take these and I'm going to put these in the hands of people who have little to no flight experience at all, and I'm going to see how they can do as well. But already I'm looking at these, looking at the design, the shape, the durability, the type of foam that's used, and saying, yeah, I think these things are most certainly going to be a winner. For $100 out the door with all these different things included in the box, this is a fantastic way to get started in the hobby. And then from there, you can move on up and fly even bigger and more complicated and faster airplanes. But this is a great way to get started.